Morgan. It's been a minute, and there's a lot of updates to get into. But before I say anything crazy, I might as well introduce my guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one, the only, Keven Williams.
The corniest intro song ever.
I don't know. I think the intro is giving, I think it's giving authentic. It's like a vibe, 90s. I think it's cute. I think it's cute.
It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. It could have been my song, honestly. If you want.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
Just imagine I come out to my own song. No, it was perfect. We'll
see. For those of you watching online, I'm wearing my Your Mom Listens to My Podcast. This was like a personalized shirt that a friend of mine had made. Shout out to Maddie Barrett. So just to segue for a second, there's so many life updates going on. This next solo pod is going to be crazy per usual. But I did meet with one of my designer friends, and we do have some things going on the way. Some new merch coming, and I'm very excited about it. Just in the baby phase, like, don't get excited, you know what I'm saying?
I'm super excited.
But what we got going on so far, just the brainstorm, looks pretty cool. So I'm pretty excited. So back to Keven. Here we go. So Keven and I met through a friend.
Yes.
Shouts to Tanner Vance.
Oh, Tan Man.
He was like, "Get this man on the podcast," and I was like, "Don't tell me what to do." And then finally he got on the podcast.
You said, "Don't tell me what to do." Yeah, I put you on my phone as Dap Up Girl because you kept trying to dap me up. And
Did you put that in? Really?
It's in my phone. It's right now. Podcast with Dap Up Girl.
Wow.
Because you kept trying to dap me up. I was like, I don't dap up girls. Just don't do that, please.
That's crazy because I'm like a woman, so I'm okay.
I don't dap up full-grown independent women.
All right, fair enough. No, it was so funny because he was like, "Hey, get my friend on the podcast. He's done this, and this," and then we were just like in the middle of this place, and we're like, "Okay," so we pull out our calendars, and we planned it like 2 months ago. And I'm so bad because I'm like, I wonder if this person will forget. I'm kind of into like, ooh, no. I wonder. And then he texted me like yesterday, and I was like, okay, I guess we're on.
Yeah, I'm professional. What do you mean?
No, I am too. That's why we're here. But it's kind of like a fun little weird game for me, and nobody asked, but
to see if I was gonna flake out or not.
Yeah, kinda.
Sorry, I showed up.
No, it's good because in a culture of like, if he wanted to, he would. I'm always just kind of like, well, do they want to? Like, I don't know.
Well, here I am. So what does that say to me as a person?
That says green light. Green light, green flag, slay.
Yeah.
Okay, Keven. So enough about me. Let's make this about you. So obviously you're on the podcast for a reason.
Forced.
Go ahead. Yeah. Shout out to your manager. I'm just
he ain't getting paid for none of that.
For real. Go ahead and tell my listeners why you're here. Like, tell us about yourself.
Why am I here?
Yeah, because what's your hinge prompt? I'm just kidding.
I love talking about myself. No,
narcissists are us. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, for sure. I love to just tell you guys about how cool I am. No, not at all. I actually love being on podcasts and talking and getting to know new people and what they're getting into. And I appreciate someone who's as ambitious as you. So whenever you said you had a podcast,
that. He won't dap me up.
Nar. So yeah, I was like, if you want me to come on, I would love to be on because I like doing stuff like this. So
cool.
Hopefully it helps me, it helps you, help each other.
Yeah.
Get new demographics. So
that's right.
Yeah, I'm a professional bowler. Every time people ask me what I do for a living, no one believes me. I'm a professional bowler and a music artist, and that is my job. That's it. That's all I do.
Yeah.
I bowl on tour. Shout out to that crowd that's super here behind this camera.
Right. They're actually all downstairs eating pancakes, but that's nobody's business.
I can't wait to do that after.
That's awesome. Okay, well, so you're a professional bowler and you do music. Let's unpack that. Well, first of all, we need context. How did you get to Springfield? Have you always been here? Let us know.
Yeah, long story short, I was a Navy baby. My dad was in the Navy for 20 years, so we traveled a lot when I was young. Like Guam, Singapore, Japan, Australia, name it, we've lived there, I feel like. But I don't remember any of it because I was like 6 years old. We moved here when I was in second grade. I lived in a trailer park with my grandma. Shout out to my grandma, who passed away forever ago. And yeah, I've been here ever since. So I've pretty much been here like my whole life. It feels like forever. So
okay,
whole life. We'll just say that.
So when you were living on different places, were you even old enough to really understand where you were or anything?
I wish. I see photos and stuff, and every once in a while I can think of a small memory, but not really. I didn't get to have fun in the places that we lived that were cool.
Yeah. Aw.
And then I end up here.
You know, Springfield is like a diamond in the rough. You know, we'll talk about it later. But
okay.
I know, but it's like the people are really great, to be honest.
Yeah, they are.
They really are.
Yeah, very small knit community because it's a small town. But I don't dislike Springfield. I actually do like Springfield. It just kind of depends on what you want to do in life here.
Right.
You know?
For sure.
It's a good place to settle down, and like it's very quiet, and there's some things going on. It's growing, but it's all right.
Yeah.
It's not as cool as other places.
We were having this whole debate earlier, and
Can't tell you guys about it.
Kevin's extremely wrong, but it's fine.
Never been.
Okay, so let's kind of get back into the pro bowler situation.
Yeah.
So you go to school here. What school did you go to?
I went to Glendale.
Okay, shout out Glendale.
I assumed you're gonna like make fun of that too, because every time I say anything, you're like, "Oh, yo, that sucks." So
that's not true. If you were right about something, I would say you're right.
I am right about things. I went to Glendale.
Okay.
I didn't do a lot of bowling. Like I bowled. I did every sport growing up, but I never wanted to be a pro bowler. I never thought that was a thing to even do.
So Glendale, they have a bowling team or no?
They did. They started one when I was a sophomore, and the head coach like told all the bowlers like, find Keven Williams. We know who this kid is. He used to bowl. He used to be super good. He's going to be our captain. Like, go get him. And so some people approached me that I've never met, and they're like, hey, this guy, he said you won't remember him, but he wants you to come try out for the team. And I was like, oh, bowling, that'd be fun. Like something else to do, whatever. You know, I played baseball and basketball and soccer and all the other things. I was like, let's add to the list. And when I got there, I was a little nervous because I was like, I haven't bowled in like 4 years. I'm going to be so bad. And I bowled off when he came up to me after. He's like, don't worry. I know how good you are. You just got to get back in the swing of things. We got it. So we went to state all 3 years. I was on all-state team all 3 years, and we won state my junior year. And then when I graduated high school, I was like, what am I going to do with life? And so I was going to take a year off and then go do like some EMP, like electronic media production. But I don't like school, and I got sponsored at 18. So I started making a little cash. And when you're broke in 18, you get a little cash in your pocket.
Right.
I was like, all right, this is cool. So I started making a little cash bowling, which I didn't know you could do. And then fast forward, I was like, well, let's just stick to this because I don't want to go back to school and go through that whole process. And then I just started getting better and better and better, and now I'm on tour. That's my job. I'm just a pro bowler.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So, okay, we need to back up a little bit. Okay,
right.
So you were approached sophomore year by your, school coach or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you're bowling a lot, like when you're just in elementary. Like, is it like every day hanging out? Like, what?
No,
tell me how that even started. Like,
not even close. You
think
like
the Wii bowling went crazy. Like,
super good at Wii bowling. Shout out Wii bowling. No, I actually. What you would think is like, oh, he grew up a bowler. His family's a bowlers. No, my parents would go up to the bowling alley and play pool at the bar. And I would just bowl all night while they got hammered drunk at the bar.
I mean,
and
it is what it is.
I was like 10, 11, 12 years old, and I would just bowl like 50 games in a night because I had all the energy in the world, and they'd be there till 1 a.m. So
yeah,
that's how he knew me, because he worked at the bowling alley and he ran the pro shop. So he would see a little 12-year-old that would just like beat people that were way older than me and stuff, and like was pretty good. So he was like, I know your potential. So
gotcha.
I didn't bowl because I was in leagues and other that tournaments and stuff like that. I bowled because my parents were degenerates and they just found something for me to do while they were degenerates, which I appreciate.
In
I'm
a
all
weird
for it.
way, when you think about it, like it's like kind of the smartest free childcare I've ever heard.
I literally will do the same thing if I have kids. I'll find something that occupies them and my degeneracy. Yeah. It's awesome. It worked out.
I'm
Balance.
kind of like in awe and also like, wow.
Yeah, it worked. In hindsight, it's kind of funny. Like I'm just a 12-year-old bowling by myself till 1 a.m. But here we are.
Right. Okay. So your team. Talk about that situation. Like, how does? Okay, you're in Springfield, Missouri. You're 18. You have cash. How did it get? What's the next steps?
So like, the thing about bowling is it's all individual. You can bowl some team stuff, but it's mainly individual. And when I got approached to get sponsored, essentially, it's called backing. The guy, Casey Murphy is his name. He's one of the best amateurs in the nation. He knew who I was as well. He saw me bowling, and he was like, this kid could be good. So what he did was he approached me. He said, hey, you don't know me, but I want to fund your travels. We'll go bowl tournaments, and any money you make profit-wise, we'll split it down the middle. So I'll front all the money. And he knew my background, just didn't have money, just, didn't have any money in my name, didn't have resources like that. So he was like, I'll take care of that. We'll pay, and you go make money, and we'll split it. He's like, we're not going to be rich, but I want to get you on your feet. So, 5 years from now, you'll get better. And that's really what it was. I made a little bit of cash, not a lot, but enough for an 18-year-old. But I learned a lot as that went on as a bowler and got better and better. And then finally I could branch out on myself. I could fund my own life. I didn't need a backer. I didn't have to split with anybody. And then it transferred into here.
Yeah.
So
talk about what a day-to-day looks like for you. I mean, the reason why we had to schedule our episode, 2 months in advance, because you just had like stuff going on. I mean, I do too, but like not as much traveling. I wish. Give me like 2 years.
It was you.
But
I had nothing going on. You were the busy one. That's why we did 2 months out. So if you guys want to get in this podcast, you better schedule some time ahead.
That is crazy. But yeah, so I mean, what does that even look like for you?
Yeah. So right now I'm on tour. I have a week in town. I leave this weekend to go to Jersey, but from January to about May, we're on tour, just all over the United States. There's some overseas events in the summer. I don't ever go to those. I don't want to be in a plane for 20 hours. But besides that, when we're bowling, it's pretty much wake up, bowl at 8 or 10, get done about 7, 8 p.m. You're bowling all day, about 4 or 5 days, and then you have finals for a couple days, and you travel to the next stop. So when we're on tour, it's bowl, go to the gym, go home. Wake up, bowl, go to the gym, go home, and that's all it is. But whenever I'm back from tour and I have some off time, I kind of back off bowling a little bit so I can go be mentally sane at other places, because I need to have balance in my life. Whenever I know I'm not bowling all the time, I can come and I can relax. I can hang out at my house, record more music, do some other things, be more social than just bowling all the time. So it's a lot more relaxed when I'm at home. I haven't done much of anything in the week I've been here, so it's nice. I can be lazy.
You need like a mental break. I mean, that's
I gotta have it.
So
it's sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
it's very mental. Bowling is, it's very individual and it's all mental. So whenever I have that week off to come home, it's just nice to decompress and not worry about bowling and do anything else besides bowl. Whatever that looks like do a podcast on your couch and not on this cool table I wanted to do it on.
There was a debate. I don't want to talk about it. There was a debate. Moving on. Dancing past it. Okay, so do you guys have personalized jerseys and stuff like that? And
Yep. Yeah, we have jerseys. You have jersey companies that you're endorsed by. So I'm endorsed by a company called Bowlify, and they're just customized jerseys. You can make whatever design you want on them. So if we did a bet and I lost a bet to you, you could put your face on my jersey.
Writing it down.
And then I'd be on TV with your face on my jersey. So,
writing it down.
That wasn't a real thing. I was just a good example,
Yeah, that was a good one.
But we have jerseys. I don't try to go too crazy with my jerseys. There's some bowlers that, they don't have very good taste in clothes, so they look pretty tacky. But you have pretty much just like most sports, just on a smaller scale, your endorsement deals and shoes and things like that. So
yeah, and not to get personal or anything, but when it comes to the pay for pro bowlers, is that what scale as other sports or athletes like that? Is it completely sustainable? Is it not? Is it? I mean, I honestly have no clue.
No, yeah, and a lot of people don't. So the thing is it's on a smaller scale than regular professionals. We're not making millions of dollars. But what people don't understand is the money that we make in earnings is only within 3 months of the year. It's not like we play year round, things like that. Some of the better bowlers on tour are going to make $400,000, $500,000 a year in earnings. And then you get down to the top 30, which I'm 20th in points right now.
Slay.
Yeah, no, I'm having a good year. But whenever you bowl, you can bowl stuff in the off-season amateur events. You get paid salaries and stuff. So it just kind of depends on what you're doing outside of bowling. But I think right now I've made 40-something thousand in a couple months. But it ranges anywhere from 100,000 to 250,000. It just depends on how I'm bowling and things like that. I get paid salaries from different companies, different endorsement deals. That's guaranteed money. But at the end of the day, I still have to perform. I still have to make my money by winning tournaments or placing in the top 10 or whatever it is. Yeah. So it just kind of depends on where you are in your career. But it is. You can make good money. I mean, for a professional athlete, people think about millions. No, it's not that. But yes, I make more than 6 figures every year, and I live life just fine.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what is your personal best?
I won a title last year. I've won a tour title. So I won back in March last year. In March. And it was live on Fox, and it was awesome. It's funny. If I want to get a little deep about it, during the time that I won, I was really struggling with some personal issues and things like that. So looking back on it, like, my hair wasn't cut. I just looked like crap. I put on a little weight and stuff. So every time like a memory pops up of me winning, I'm like, God, I looked so bad then. So I'm so bummed about that. But I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I have won a tour title. I finished second this year. We actually hosted a tour event this year in Springfield at Enterprise at my home center.
What?
And I lost in the title match and I got second there. So yeah, but you know, we're on TV a bunch now and things like that. It's fun.
That's cool.
It's fun. I get to compete for a living. I grew up playing sports, every sport there was possible. I'm very competitive.
Even though you would probably still lose that ping pong to me.
We could find out whenever you want, because there's no way. There's just no way that's going to happen. But I get to compete for a living, and that's awesome. I mean, it's stressful. It's mentally exhausting, but it's just part of the grind that I've always done my whole life when it comes to sports. So it's fun.
So other times when I've interviewed athletes and stuff, you know, I ask the question like, how do you deal with a bad game? How do you deal with that mentally? And obviously in this situation, you know, you are independent, like you are your own team. Mm-hmm. So when we talked about it for a second, like, how do you cope with a bad game or the mental toughness of, you know, competing all the time? Yeah,
the thing is, like, when it comes to being a professional athlete, most professional sports are a team. So it doesn't always weigh on just you. Yes, you might have a critical play where something goes the wrong way for you and it kind of dwells on you a little bit, but you have a team to pick you up and build off of and things like that. Bowling is lonely. I mean, it is lonely because you don't have coaches and stuff. We have ball reps, which are kind of like caddies essentially, but no, it's you and yourself out there. And if you're bowling bad, it's really easy to fall into like that dark hole of like, I'm bowling bad, and it gets worse and worse, and then it's in your head, and you just can't dig out of it sometimes. So bowling is lonely because it's only you, you know. So a lot of people will get like mental coaches and things like that, so that way you can understand the process a little easier. But you know, it comes with time. When you bowl so long, you just understand how to win and lose better. Yeah, you know, it's just experience. That's all it really is. But yeah, sometimes it hurts. I had a rough ending to my masters this year, and I bowled really well, and I feel like I didn't finish where I should have, and it stung. Like, it was bad. The next week I was just down on myself, and I talked to who is the greatest of all time in my opinion. His name's Jason Belmonte. He saw that I was struggling, and he was like, hey, just know that like we've all been there. We've all been to a point where we feel like we kind of let ourselves down or whatever. Like, you'll get through it. And I was like, I understand like the whole process of it, but I just gotta like kind of hone in that emotion and just feel it for a little bit, you know.
Right. Oh my gosh.
You gotta be mad. You gotta be sad sometimes. You gotta understand those emotions and then use how to make them to find light in them. So, you know, I was sad for a week and then we're good.
Yeah.
You know.
Men are so different too.
Oh God, here we go.
I'm just saying, I've been having a weird couple of weeks, and you're so right. You gotta feel it, but you know, I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna need like a whole month sabbatical from my emotions. So.
Oh yeah. See, you say men are so different. I would be like go as far to say that not many men could say like you need to feel your emotions. Where I used to not say that either.
No, I agree with you. I do agree with you on that. Like, that is huge maturity. That is, yeah.
I used to not be like that. I used to be the typical guy that was like, sad? I'm not freaking sad. Angry? Not me. No, now if I'm sad or mad, I'll feel it. I'm good. I could get a cry out or whatever it is. I didn't cry when I bowled bad, but like I was pretty bummed, and I was like, man, I just need to like get through this, and then we'll get back on with it. So
yeah, we're like, it's 2023. Like, not feeling emotions is icky, to be honest. Like,
super icky. Don't do it, guys.
Don't do it. Seriously, therapy's not bad. Like,
it's not. Hey, I tell everyone, even if you're happy, you should go to therapy. It's good. It's a good tool.
Have you ever thought about getting like a coach or a manager or an assistant that is just kind of with you all the time, or like during games, or is it just not feasible?
No, not. Yes and no, it isn't feasible at times. It just kind of depends how many people are out there that could just like be your mental coach. But the beauty about bowling is it's such a small, like, loved community. Everyone is there for everyone. Even though my friends, I'm at the end of the day, they could take a paycheck for me because they could beat me out of a spot that pays or whatever it is. Everyone looks out for everyone. A lot of the vets that have been on tour for 25 years, I can go up to them and I can say, man, I've really been struggling, and they'll tell me what they think is going right and wrong and things like that. So you don't really need in the bowling world because of that. Everyone's kind of got everyone's back. Yes, we bowl against each other, but you know, it's such a small community that everyone takes care of everyone. So you don't need it, which is good. It makes it a lot easier, because if it was cutthroat and no one liked anyone, it'd be tough. It'd be a little more tough, but it makes it a little more sane out there to have like friends, even though you bowl against them.
Yeah. Dang, that's cool. I honestly never knew that about the bowling community. So
yeah, I know. There's a lot that people don't know. It's a weird one, but
is there like a weird random fact about bowling that just like no one knows or something that's kind of, do you have anything on the top of your head?
A random fact?
Yeah, like what's, you know, just like something that's like, well, no one knows this, but really when you bowl, blah, 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 you know, is there anything about like the community or like just bowling in itself where it's like a weird random fact?
I don't know if
like
I want
random fact. I'm afraid of eyeballs. Like I think, I think they're kind of disgusting when someone like changes their contact. I mean, everyone has to do it. It's no big deal, but it makes me kind of want to barf a little bit. Like, so is there something like?
I feel so judged that I have contacts now. Like,
no, I mean I do not, but I just have this thing where it's called emetophobia. So it's a whole thing. Is there something like that in the bowling world? Or
the first thing that comes to my mind is that like bowlers are a little bit of degenerates. That's the first thing I want to say. Yeah.
Well,
they like to have a good time. They like to gamble, things like that, you know, as a lot of people do. But people wouldn't expect that out of bowlers. I feel like people wouldn't think that they like to have fun times like that. But they do. They do. And their off time, they'll go out and have some beers and go to a karaoke bar and be goofballs out in the world.
Okay.
So. Okay. That's the first one that comes to my head. I'm sure there's more, but that's the only one that comes to my head.
All right. So let's transition a little bit and talk about your music.
Yeah.
So when did that start? Was the passion always there? Let's get into it.
All right. The story of why I started music is actually very funny. I've always loved music. I've always sang along to YouTube covers of like when Justin Bieber first started hitting the scene. I was a believer, like
He's
big
like,
time.
Mistletoe.
Before then, like when he was first getting discovered. I've always loved music, but I never thought about creating music. But in high school, a buddy of mine, Chase May, he used to freestyle rap all the time, and he was super nice with it. He was so good at freestyle rapping, and he got so much attention for it all the time. If we ever went to a party or if we ever did anything out in the world, people would ask him to freestyle and he would do it, and then he would just steal the room. And I'm just sitting there like, this is dope. I'm just sitting there like, this is dope. And then I'm like, can't be that freaking hard, right? So I started writing music in class because I was a little bit jealous. He got like a whole story in the yearbook, like a giant 2-page. They went to a studio and did a photo shoot with him and stuff. And I was like, he's getting all this attention for this music stuff? Like, I want to try this music stuff, like a little bit out of jealousy. So I started writing like the worst raps if you've ever read a Dr. Seuss book, that's what my raps were. It was like,
I mean, he kind of goes hard though. Like
maybe for
green eggs and ham.
Like, yeah, for like 5-year-olds. But I was writing Dr. Seuss rhymes for real in class, and they were so bad. But I noticed I loved the process of it. It was kind of like a little bit of an escape. I would know, like the first time I wrote a rap, I just looked up and like school was over, and I was like, oh, I have a full page of just dumb, terrible lyrics. But I mean, I blew by this day at school. So I was like, all right. So, you know, I got $100 and I got the cheapest mic I could get, and I got a little program, and then I started recording. I have some really embarrassing videos on YouTube that are on private now, but I used to freestyle and stuff for fun and like write raps and have people like join in with me. And then I just started getting a little better and learning more. And just the process of music is my favorite. It's just so fun. I could work on a song for 3 hours, listen back to it, and it'd be the worst song, and then I'm still happy. I'm like, all right, it sucked next. Like, it's just fun. It's just fun to experiment and learn. And it's such a good, like, stress relief to be able to take my emotions and put them onto something and put it out there for people that they can hopefully relate to, you know?
Yeah.
And share that emotion that I used to be so scared of. Music has really opened me up to be able to speak on being vulnerable and things like that. So I love music so much. I love music. Way more than bowling. Bowling sucks. Bowling sucks. Music is way better.
Okay, so you got the bowling sponsorship when you were 18. When did you start trying to make music? I mean, you said you did some stuff
about the same time, honestly. Yeah, it was like, I want to say senior year of high school is when he got that story. Around there, end of high school. And then like out of high school, when I made a little bit of cash, I kind of bought a mic and stuff. And then it took a while to really take it serious. But I would say I really started taking music more serious like 6 years ago. So last 6 years, I've really like learned how to mix and master my own stuff and understand structure of song, and just like really, I always say have the juice, like be able to make a song in 20 minutes. Like if I'm really dialed in, I can make a song in 20, 30 minutes, a full song, and be happy with it. So wow. And that just
I
recently
can't even
happened.
make a meal that I'm happy with in 30 minutes. What?
Yeah. Okay. It's just like anything. I tell people like everyone's like, oh, I could never. If every day you drove in your car and a beat came on and you tried to freestyle rap, I promise you would get better. It's just like anything else in the world. You would get better. I was the worst at music when I first started. And I like to believe that my music's very good now, but it was ground zero terrible. So anyone could be good at music. It's just like having a little bit of passion for it. It's really what it matters.
So when was your first song released?
Oh, man. I would say probably 6 years ago is when I finally released something on like Apple and Spotify and things like that, around 6 years ago. And most of that music that I had out originally, I've taken down because it's just not a good representation of who I am now, because my music is just night and day better. And I used to be like, let's say you had like a little game night, came over and you played like one of my songs 4 or 5 years ago. I'd be like, oh, come on, turn it off. Like, yeah. I was proud of it, but not that proud of it. I just kind of was like, whatever about it. I didn't like when people played my own stuff, even though you should want them to. But now I'm like, okay, you want to hear a new song? Let me play this. Yeah. You want to hear another one? Let me play this. So I've deleted a lot of my old stuff off of all the platforms, and I'm only putting the new stuff because it's just night and day better. And I'm just proud of it now. So
yeah.
No more old stuff.
I get it too. When I like listened to my first episode of the podcast, which it was good, but now I'm just like the way that I talk about stuff, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, you just get like, better and better as you do it. You get more comfortable.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So tell us like what kind of music you make.
All now at this point. Everyone always says like, oh, you're a rapper, and I'm like, I know, I'm just a music artist now. I do a lot of it, like acoustic singing songs now. I don't have the best singing voice, but I make it work. Shout out to auto-tune. I make rap, I make pop songs, I make sad songs. I'm actually releasing like a 5-project album. It's not really an album because I don't think they're an album until you're like signed to a label and stuff. But I'm releasing 5 projects. All of them are a different type of vibe. And then that will create like one big playlist. So I just released Sad Boy Volume 1, which is 4 sad, like kind of heartbreak songs and like love songs a couple months ago. And then next is going to be 4 rap songs, and then R&B, and then summer vibes, and then 5 miscellaneous songs. And then you kind of have a little bit of everything in there. So I don't like to box myself into being like one artist or like one sound, where in today's world, it's really easy to see that artists just master other artists' sounds. They're like, oh, that looks like it works. Let me just do exactly what he just did, but with my voice. So I try to make everything, and it makes it more fun that way. If I just came in, I did the same song every time I recorded, I wouldn't have fun. So
it's the same thing with the podcast too. Like, I don't want to just be in one niche where it's like, oh, I'm only going to talk about girly pop marketing stuff. Like, no, if I find something interesting, I'm going to talk about it. That's what I came here
for. I came here for the girly pop marketing stuff.
Yeah, and you're sucking it. I'm just kidding. No. This is great. This is great information, honestly. Is there a certain genre? Like, obviously, you say you like to be diverse about what you sing, and all the things. Is there a certain one that you just kind of like, though, more than the others?
I'm really good at the, like, sad, more emotional stuff. It comes to me a lot more natural. Anytime I go into the studio and I don't have like when I listen to music and if I hear a new song and then it kind of like, oh man, this rap song's dope, and then I want to go record a rap song. If I just go into the studio with no like predetermined mindset of what I want to record, next thing you know, I'm listening to like sad acoustic guitars and I'm talking about heartbreak. It comes the most natural to me, and it's the most fun for me to be able to sing and kind of like talk about deeper stuff than that. And I like to put out music that people can relate to and they can learn from, and if nothing else, they can feel like they're sharing some pain with someone else. Like, that sounds corny, but like, it is the truth. Like, if I put out a song,
I'm sure Taylor Swift would agree with you.
Honestly,
that's what I'm saying. So when you're pulling out emotion, and like, a lot of what we do is based on our experiences, is that what you're kind of pulling from for the sad songs?
It's now, yes. At the same time, music is just storytelling. So it doesn't always have to be, a lot of people lie in music, and it doesn't have to be lies, but it's just storytelling. I can just talk about someone who got their heart broken by someone because they did something, and it might not be me at all.
Yeah.
But it could be a song that's relatable, that what I talk about and how you cope with that pain or whatever can be relatable. And then when people say like, I've been going through a hard time and I've listened to your song Real Love 100 times, like, thank you for that. That's what I do music for. Because that's the cool stuff. Like, that's what I want to do it for. I just want people to like not feel alone, even if it is a song. It sounds corny, but that's how I listen to music. When I listen to music and I relate to something, I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
I get it. Like, you know, so
no, I
want
mean,
people
it's
to
the
get it.
same exact thing as what I do. Because when I do solo episodes, I just chop it up. And I'm so unhinged and chaotic. But when someone's like, yo, they're like, I felt it. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, see?
I love that.
But that's what you want. You want that response. You want people to understand that it's relatable. It doesn't have to be the exact same situation, but if they're going through something and they're handling it the same way you're talking about it, you know, that's how you learn from each other. That's how everyone grows. So
what are your ultimate goals with your music and with pro bowling? Like, I mean, what are the dream endpoints, I guess, or certain marks you'd want to hit, you know? To
never bowl again and only be a music artist.
Wow.
I don't want to bowl. That's just the truth. Again, I love bowling. It's awesome. I make good money, yada, yada, yada. I travel, all that stuff. But if I could just pick, it's music. It's to be able to make music and travel the world showing off my music and relating with people. And that's just like, it's the dream job.
Like your heart is more into that, would you say?
Oh, yeah. But it is. Because you got to think about like music. Being an entertainer is the best job in my opinion, because you make something, you get to show off that thing you made. So you're kind of being cocky. And then people love that you're showing it off. That's awesome. Like, make something that I just perform in front of thousands of people and they love that I'm performing it. I'm like, yeah, I did that. Like, that's awesome. So, and you get to, you know, and on the deeper level, you know, you get to connect with more people through music and stuff like that, which we do with bowling as well. We have a YouTube channel and a lot of fans love the things that we do. And we meet a lot of people who are, you know, look up to us and stuff like that. But music is just a whole nother level. You can talk about emotion and situations and things like that. And it's just, again, I love the process of music. I don't get mad ever when I make music. That would change maybe if I got deep in the industry and then there's some cutthroat parts of that.
Right.
But the actual process of making music, I will never not fall in love with. I always love it. It's always fun.
So out of the two industries, what are the hardest parts of both?
I would say they're similar in some aspects where it's very cutthroat because there's no, for bowling, it's just you, yourself, and I, as we've touched on. And that's hard sometimes to deal with, and it's very mental. And then you go over to the music side of things, there's no formula to music, which is very frustrating. If I'm you know, one of the best bowlers in the world, that's because I've practiced and I've put in the time, and that shows. I've also practiced and put in the time with music, and it doesn't always show. You know, you could make your first song tonight just as a joke because you're like, hey, let's make a song, you know? And I'm like, oh, I have my recording stuff. You could put it out tomorrow and then get 40 billion views. Yeah. And then you're just a sensation for no reason.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that were 100 times more talented than me that will never get noticed in the music world. Because it's just like, it's a part of like lightning in the bottle, going viral. What gets discovered, what doesn't. So that's the frustrating part. There's no formula to it. Yes, you can do things that help you get in the right direction. Doesn't mean they're going to work. Mm-hmm. You know, you could do all the things that Post Malone or Justin Bieber did, and it never works for you, and it worked for them. That's the frustrating part with music.
Yeah. So my next question, too, is something that I struggle with as well with the podcast, is we kind of touched on, you know, how do you deal with slow growth, whether it's content or social media or, like you said, with music.
Yeah, it's consistency, and it will always be consistency, especially when you're in social media. Like, even if people are, and I'm very much like this, I'm so concerned with quality at times. And yes, good quality content will go a long ways, but not if you're not consistently posting stuff. I would rather post 7 videos in a row, like once every day, that's okay quality, versus one really good video every like 3 weeks. Because if people see your consistency and they're like, oh man, I know that he's going to post at 2 p.m. And then you kind of get more invested because you're like, oh, another post. Oh, another podcast. You know, whatever it is that you're doing. Yeah. If you're very consistent on that, people appreciate consistency, and then they can pretty much just guarantee that like you're going to post something. So even if it's not something they don't really care, it's like, well, Kevin's posting something new to watch or listen to or whatever, you know. And then you start to appreciate that those people are here every day to put out content, and then you fall in love with it more and more. So consistency is everything, and it's so hard to be consistent. Yeah. We talked about it a little bit before. It's very hard. And yes, it is pretty easy to just make a TikTok or stuff like that, like in hindsight of things, but not when you've had a long day. Right. And like you just don't have the brain power to do it like you said, or just the heart to do it. And then like you look up and you're like, man, I haven't posted in 2 weeks. Like people don't even know that my podcast is coming out tomorrow because I haven't posted in 2 weeks, but If you post
Called
every day,
out. I'm just
I'm just bringing you in to relate,
Right.
But
right.
consistency is everything, and you've heard that from a million people that are in. But it's true. I mean, it is.
So who's your favorite artist? Like, who do you listen to all the time?
Kid Laroi.
Okay.
Post Malone is obvious. Justin Bieber's an obvious.
You team Spotify or Apple?
I'm Team Apple.
I am
Here we
too.
go. Oh, I thought you were gonna judge me.
No, I literally, I'm
I
Apple
thought you were
forever.
gonna judge me.
No, I would never do that.
I'm Team Apple. Tory Lanez is my favorite artist. He's going through a little bit of some trouble right now, but he is my favorite artist. I met him when I was 18. It was awesome to meet him. I got to hang out with him for a little bit, and he's an artist I aspire to be. He's very versatile, which all those guys I kind of said are pretty versatile. Post Malone can make a little bit of everything, but
Yeah.
Tory Lanez is my favorite artist, and he always has been. I've known him for way before he blew up, and everyone always says like, "Oh, I knew him before you did,"
Yeah.
but I knew Tory. I kind of snuck up on him on YouTube. He was singing at the beach somewhere, and he was handing out CDs. And he would just go up to girls like, "Can I sing to you?" And then he would sing a song, but here's a CD. And I stumbled upon that, and then I was like, "Let me listen to this guy."
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I was like, "Oh, I'm a fan." So I've known
Same.
him way before anyone did. So I hate that he's going through what he's going through, but yeah, as an artist, he's awesome.
That's awesome. So not to get a little bit deeper, but on Keeping It with Cash, we keep it 100. So
Yeah.
always. So, if you want to share, is there anything that you've experienced that is something that you've struggled with that maybe has either helped you in bowling or music, or it's been a challenge for you,
Yeah. I mean, a couple things. I'm kind of at a place right now in life where a lot of my friends are starting to settle down and have kids and get married. I don't see them as much, and my life is going very separate from them. And that was kind of hard to cope with at first because it made me feel like I was doing things wrong, which I took a step back to realize that like there's no timeline to what your life is going to turn into. If you get married to have kids, there's no like steps into being life. You just do whatever you want to do. So I'm okay with that now, where there was a little bit of a time where I was like, man, am I a mess up? Because like, in my free time, I like to go out and have some drinks and stuff, and everyone else is just settled down and living their little married life. But I now know that that's just dumb. That's just like you thinking that there's a formula to life, but
Right.
there's not. Also, going through the last breakup that I had, I really got better with like understanding emotions. I used to be very closed off and not care about emotions, not care to be sad, not care to be mad, none of that. And it kind of got me in a dark place where I was like, all right, I need to understand why I feel this way and just accept it. And I look at life a lot better now, a lot more open-minded than I used to. And I'm glad that I do. I'm not afraid to say that I can be vulnerable and things like that because I think more people should be like that. I mean, I really
100%.
do. So, yeah, I mean, just the separation of like where my close circle is and me, and then the breakup and just kind of like where my life is at. But it's not a bad thing. And it just took me a while to understand that. I used to think it was a bad thing for a little bit.
And it's hard. I mean, we live in Springfield, and I went to Evangel, so half my friends have kids. So, and they're like 24.
Nice.
And I love it. They're so cute. But it's, there's this, depending on your city, there's a lot of pressure. And sometimes you just got to be different. And I think it's important that you have to do what's best for you and not settle for anything that's not right, because of a timeline pressure. But yeah.
That's the thing. When you're around something and you just see the same thing, like you got married, you had kids, you got married, it makes it feel like that's what you need to be doing. And that might be, or it might not be, but there's no right or wrong answer. You just, you do life whenever, when you can. Like it just happens how it happens. And when you put pressure on, oh my God, I need to have kids by this time, I need to be married by this time, I need to be settled down with a job with a 401k. No, just as long as you're happy,
vibe, bro.
I mean, seriously, as long as you're happy, you're not putting yourself in a bad spot. Just live life,
Yeah. Live, laugh, love.
Yeah, that's probably somewhere in this loft.
It's probably on a tattoo on my body. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Don't tempt me. I don't know. I kind of love that phrase. Anyways, moving on. So I guess relationship status. Well, you mentioned a breakup. I mean,
I'm so single.
We don't know if that was like from high school or not, because a lot of boys don't deal with their stuff. But
hey, This whole time, you keep saying this whole time. I've been talking about emotions, being very open.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been going through some stuff, and I am spicy this month.
Oh, she's spicy, she says.
Yeah, like, you know, when we're talking about like emotions and how guys need to deal with them and not just get like a
So
PR in the gym, you know? No, I'm not a hypocrite, but like right now I definitely am like, I don't know. I'm like, I've been going to the gym and I'm like running. Like,
she's a hypocrite.
No, I'm definitely not.
I'm very much single. I am gonna be single forever, but I'm gonna be happy. I'm just kidding.
Live, laugh, love.
I tell my friends, I was like, guys, I'm never getting a relationship again. They're like, oh yeah, whatever. And I was like, I'm pretty serious about that, but I mean, we'll see whatever happens. I'm open-minded, but no, I'm very much single. My life is too busy. It's too fast. And that sounds like such a generic, like, answer, like, oh, I just got so much going on. But I really do. I am on the road, like, all the time. I've been on the road for the last 4 months, and I'm just always moving and stuff. It's hard to date me. Like, it's hard to, not even just me as a just like how I'm on the road and things like that. So yeah, I'm just living my life.
Yeah, live and laugh, love.
Yeah, I'm
laughing,
I'm loving, and I'm living. I'm gonna say it in a different order because I'm not a basic white girl.
I'm half Hispanic, so I don't really know who you're talking about here. But yeah. So have you, well, you kind of mentioned a few of the artists you met. Have you met any other like big bowlers or other musical artists that you'd want to like name drop for clout or anything? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so me and Justin Bieber just kicked it the other day.
Yummy was actually about, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we was doing our thing, like being friends and stuff, whatever, you know. All in the bowling world, I've met all the like greatest that are still alive. I mean, like I said, it's a very small community, so all the best in the world to ever do it, I'm good friends with now, and I can talk to them all on a regular basis. So that's awesome. And growing up, again, I wasn't a bowler, so I don't get starstruck. Like when I met Tory Lanez, even then I was like, this is kind of cool, but I just like, I don't know. I just try to be. They're like a normal human. Yeah, they have a little bit different status and a bigger bank account, but they're just normal humans, so I don't get like, oh my God, it's Justin Bieber, this or that. So, yeah, I've met some cool people and stuff, but nothing super crazy.
Yeah.
Yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to know the whole Kings team soon.
It's crazy.
Oh, I wish.
That's wild.
I wish.
Do you have any advice to anyone who would want to go in the music industry or is, you know, wanting to do pro bowling or something like that? Or, you know, would love to be like a pro athlete in that kind of space?
So they got to be separate. Music, like, these are going to be cheesy answers, but it's true. Just be yourself. Make what you want to make, and people are either going to accept it or not. If you make something and you're proud of it, that's all that matters. And the fans will find it, and the fans will love it. And if you try to cater to what the industry wants or what is working, like if it's some TikTok trend and you need to make a song that's like that TikTok, you're not going to be as happy. Your heart's not going to be fully there. And then you're just not going to have the passion like you should have. So just be yourself, trust the process, and whatever happens, happens. Don't put pressure on like if you're going to become famous or if this song's going to go viral, if it's going to be a #1 hit, just put it out there. And if it isn't, it isn't. So what? Just be proud of what you're doing. Because it will all fall in place if it works. If it's going to be what's going to be, it'll fall in place. But if you force it, if you try to be something you're not, your heart will never be there.
That's good.
So
That's
music
good
side of things, that. Professional athlete, you can't cheat the process. I mean, you can't complain about where you think you should be versus where other people are, because those people are probably there because they earned it. So when it comes to being a professional athlete, and yes, I'm a bowler, and some people might say you're not an athlete because you don't have to be like, you know, LeBron James to be a bowler. But I played a lot of other sports, you know, at high levels when I was growing up, and you can't cheat the process. You have to put the time in, and you have to pay your dues. And if you do that, and if you go like head first into that, you will see results. But you can't just give up if it doesn't go your way for 1 month, or if it's just not progressing as quick as you want it to be. You can't cheat the process. You just got to stick to it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out as well. But don't leave anything short. You got to give it all.
That's good. What is something you wish you would have known when you were younger?
That it kind of goes back to the timeline of things. Life isn't a race. Just, you know, take it as it's coming. You know, don't be so quick to get to this part of life, and don't put so much pressure on what you should be, because the world, I feel like, puts pressure on, like, when you're 25 you need to do this, when you're 30 you need to, like, just live, and whatever happens, happens. Again, don't put yourself ever in a predicament to where you're struggling, but it's not as serious as people think. Life is not that serious. It really isn't. Yes, there's some things you need to be responsible.
There's some
being
things
an adult.
that are kind of serious.
There are. Obviously, that's a broad answer, but like overall, don't put so much pressure on life. Just take it as it comes and just enjoy it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, as we end every episode, and it's truly been a pleasure. We end every episode the same way because you know what? I'm consistent.
Super consistent. I post all the time.
Kind of predictable. So, favorite song, favorite quote, and what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh man.
Just coming from the guy who's like, I got this down bad. Like, I don't need to write and look anything up.
I want to give a good answer, but I'll say the first ones that come to my mind. One of my favorite songs is "Lifetime" by Justin Bieber. Yeah, no, super basic. Yeah.
I don't even think I've heard it.
Okay, so why did I come here? That's a good one that comes to my head. Crazy. Or "Freaky" by Tory Lanez. Two completely different songs, but those are the first two that came to my head. My favorite quote, I don't have a lot of quotes that I actually know. I just have my own quotes that I usually say. My favorite quote is, "It ain't that serious." Okay. It ain't that serious. I don't know. It just feels like it applies to so many things. If someone argues with me or something, it ain't that serious. It's all right. It'll be all right. But what was the last one?
What do you want your legacy to be?
What do I want my legacy to be? I don't really care too much about a legacy. I just want to make an impact while I'm here. I don't need to make an impact when I'm...
That's literally what a legacy is.
Okay, look, but hold on.
What?
Look, hold on. Start over. Cut the camera. Everyone shut up that's watching here live on this. Okay, my legacy. Yeah, guys, calm down. I know it's a bad answer. I just want the people that come in contact with me, if I meet them or whatever, and have a conversation with them, is to make any little bit of change or help them with growth, and just be a genuine person.
Yeah.
I used to not care as much about things like that, but now I see the bigger picture of when I meet someone, even if it is the only time I ever talk to them, I could make the difference in my conversations, especially in the last 2 years, being in the spotlight more with my career and being on TV and meeting a lot of young kids that look up to me and stuff like that. It makes all the difference. Even if I only talk to a kid for 13 seconds, if I joke with him and fist bump him and take a photo with him, that could make the world a difference. And a lot of people tell me that on my social medias. A lot of people reach out to me and say, I've never met you. I don't know who you are, but the things you do on social media and what you talk about and your music, I respect you and I appreciate everything you do. And that stuff matters to me. At the end of the day, that stuff matters. I don't care about money. I don't care about earnings. I don't care about my bowling titles and what my career looks like with bowling. I care about that people can look at me and be like, he's actually just a genuine human.
Yeah, that's good.
That's all I care about.
Yeah, that's good.
And to be a billionaire. Just kidding.
I was waiting for the ball to drop.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, genuine human, but not super broke or nothing,
Right. Well, thank you so much, Keven, for coming on.
No, thanks for having me.
For real. It's been great. Couple of things. One, you guys know how much I love Classics Yard. Play ping pong there all the time, and I'm good. I literally beat everybody. So.
I will beat everyone at every game at Classic Yard. Shout out to my boy Caleb. I love you with all my heart and soul, Caleb.
They started a pickleball tournament, so you absolutely need to go there and check it out, and make them also start a ping pong one so I can win. A couple updates, though. There's a lot of things going on. I kind of mentioned on my social media that there's just been a lot kind of going on mentally for me, and this next solo pod I'll kind of describe everything and give it into detail, but I really appreciate all of your love and patience, as transition is difficult and it's hard to kind of navigate your life and
feel those feelings.
We are humans, and it's like we need downtime, and we're not robots, and in order to avoid burnout and continue to love the things you love, you have to take care of yourself and your mind and your heart and your soul. And so
balance.
That's what's been going on. But again, I love you guys so much. I cannot wait for everything in store. And things are starting to flow. We got things in motion now. So yeah, but just as I always say, you guys make the most of your life. Check in with yourself and keep on keeping up with cash. Okay, bye.